In today's video, we've got some good news and some potentially not so good news. The good news, of course, is New Wave Toys have broken radio silence, giving us an update on their production schedule and when you can expect to receive your pre-orders from New Wave Toys. On the flip side, the not so good news, Mel Kirk recently did an interview with the Blockade Pinball podcast, and it looks like Zen Studios Pinball FX games might not be coming to the brand new AtGames Legends Pinball HDP. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Michael B. And in today's video, like I mentioned in the intro, we've got some good news and maybe some not so good news. We're going to talk about New Wave Toys, the announcement they made today, as well as the update to their production schedule, as well as also talk about Mel Kirk's appearance on the Blockade Pinball podcast and what this could potentially mean for their relationship with AtGames. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for checking out the video. Guys, I always appreciate the support. If this is your first time to the channel, you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe, click the bell for notification, all that YouTube jazz. So, like I mentioned in the opening, Mel Kirk, the head of Zen Studios, was recently on the Blockade Pinball podcast. This is something he does pretty regularly, usually an end-of-year update, and the topic that actually came up was talking about their relationship with AtGames, and Mel was very forward in indicating that maybe they weren't so happy with the relationship with AtGames, with the AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP, saying that going into the relationship, he told them up front that the machine was underpowered in order to run the Zen Studios games. So I think it should be no surprise now to the people that have been watching me for a while. I'm a big fan of the AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP. AtGames originally sent this to me for review, and I've had a ton of fun with it, exploring the libraries from Zachariah, Gottlieb, and especially Zen Studios. And that's really the magic that brings me to the dance on this, is the fact that you can play Zen Studios games on this machine, of the classic Williams especially, and that's what made it so exciting for me, and they play so very good. Well, that is, they play good now, not originally, because like Mel mentioned, originally the launch for the Zen Studio games on the AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP wasn't so great. They were running into issues where they couldn't get the graphics to where they wanted them, and there was some input lag or flipper delay originally with the tables. Thankfully, AtGame did manage to, overcome that, and now the games play like they should, but they're still not in 4K. They can't meet that resolution, and the max resolution they can get to is somewhere around 2K. Now, with that being said, I still think it's a fantastic experience on the AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP. Of course, the Zachariah games, 4K, the AtGames original games, 4K, the Gottlieb games, 4K. It's just the Zen Studio games that can't seem to get there. They play really well, they work really well with the SSF kit, and it's a joy to play them on a digital pinball machine. But I do understand for the people that are disappointed, that expected to be able to play Zen Studios pinball games in 4K. Now, since then, AtGames have followed up the original AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP with the AtGames Legends Pinball HDP Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Edition, and everybody's been pretty excited about this. It came out at a launch price of $1,199. There was just a great Black Friday deal where you could get this for $999. It offers a lot of the same features of the AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP at a lower price point with HD instead of 4K resolution. The big selling point for this machine is the fact that it does have the same brains and hardware as the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K. So that's right, guys. You buy this machine from Sam's Club where it is available. You can automatically play the new AtGames original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. You're going to have to actually rebuy your library if you already have Legends Pinball HD, because those games won't be compatible, apparently, with the new Legends HDP. So, of course, you're going to be buying new games for it, or you can sign up to their PinballNet subscription service. They talk about the expandable, how you can add more games to it. And like I said, you can also add your SSF kit, solenoids coming soon. Plus, it's got that cool Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles branding, which is a lot of wins. But like I said in the advertisement, they do mention this does have the same horsepower chip as the AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP. So the question was, all right, I know I can play Zachariah, I know I can play AtGames Original, I know I can play Gottlieb, but will I be able to finally buy Zen Studios games on a device other than the 4K? Can I get Zen Studios games working on the HD? And AtGames have not guaranteed that yet, but they did listen. They did list under the facts, will I be able to purchase pinball tables from Zen Studios? And it says, not at launch, however, we're working diligently to bring more tables, including those from Zen Studios, to your machine. A full list of available tables and the release schedules will be announced at a later date. Now, of course, most people are interested in the AtGames Legends Pinball HDP because with the same horsepower, they're excited because they could potentially play Zen Studios games on this new Legends Pinball HDP. And where the Zen Studios games don't even work in 4K on the 4KP, the hope is that you can get really good versions for this new TMNT HDP. And of course, in the fact, they're looking to bring these games to the platform. But unfortunately, that's where we have to go back to the Blockade podcast and Mel Kirk talking about the relationship with AtGames. During that same interview, he did in fact talk about the new Legends Pinball HDP, and he did mention to the hosts, AtGames want to bring the Zen Studios games to this new device, and he gave a very non-committal answer, and he just said, they want to bring it to the new device. I guess we'll see. So that doesn't give me a lot of confidence or faith that the Zen Studios games will eventually end up on this brand new AtGames Legends Pinball HDP, like I'm sure a lot of people were hoping. Now, of course, I'm not too concerned about it because obviously I already have the 4KP. I don't have any interest in downgrading to an HDP, even though the Turtles stuff is really cool, but I'm already in a good space. But for those of you out there looking to get the HDP, I think it's important to note that the Zen Studios games are not currently available, and there's no guarantee they will ever come to the platform. Of course, with Mel saying this, it adds fuel to the fire that they might not come, but I wouldn't even panic right yet that they're not coming. The truth of the matter is, bullshit walks, money talks, and of course, even though these are underpowered, apparently, according to Mel, they can still make them work on the Legends Pinball HDP as long as the money works and as long as the partnership with AtGames continued. So, will I take this as, or should you take this as a sign that Zen Studios isn't coming to the HDP? Nah, not necessarily, but if that is the most important thing about you picking up the new AtGames Legends Pinball HDP, I would take a wait-and-see approach and wait until the games are actually pushed to the platform before you pick it up. Now, moving forward, I do want to talk about New Wave Toys, and if you go back 6 months ago, it's the last time we actually had an episode of Arcade Life with New Wave Toys with our buddy Eduardo and with Shiloh. And of course, as many of you know, Shiloh recently had a very serious accident and he is currently in recovery from this. That's why we haven't seen another episode. And I feel terrible for New Wave Toys because they've just gone through a very, very bad 2-year period with the LA wildfires and that impacting their business, not being able to work. Of course, with the tariff situation, how it impacted everybody else. And then Shiloh with his accident have really set the company back quite a bit. And what makes the situation even worse isn't the fact that it's not like they're just not doing anything because of these issues, but there are people, many people out there in the community with as many as 5 different pre-orders currently right now from New Wave Toys that are getting frustrated and wondering where their product is. But it looks like we finally have some new communication from New Wave Toys and an updated production schedule, so it looks like things are going to get back on track. So huge thank you to John Dabos for sharing this on the official Global Replicade fan page. New Wave Toys did put out a message to their people today, basically telling everybody about what's going on with New Wave Toys, about their production issues, and of course the accident with Shiloh. And the most important thing as we get through this is they're getting it caught up. And then they gave a production update with a production update of Golden Tee shipping in January, Arcade Atmosphere shipping in March, Black Hole in April, Ski Balls in May, and Crystal Castles in June. So if you're wondering when you're finally going to get your products from New Wave Toys, there it is. Now, on top of that, New Wave Toys do already have a new product currently out at retail, which a couple people are pretty upset about because they do have pre-orders and yet a retail product released before the existing pre-orders. But of course, New Wave Toys, you have to jump on these opportunities. And when a retailer comes up and says, we'll buy a bunch of these off you, they have to jump on it. So if you are, tired of waiting and you want to get your New Wave Toys Golden Tee fix early, you can now go to BJ's. It's actually pickup and delivery sold out, but I think there's more coming. The Golden Tee TV plug and play is currently on sale for $199.99. Now, I was told you do have to be careful about this. You want to make sure on the box it includes the Arcade Accurate GRS trackball. Apparently, not all of them will have them, but apparently the ones that went to BJ's do have the GRS trackball. I don't know everything about that. Hopefully, they all have them, but this product is currently available if you want to get your hands on it early and you don't already have an existing pre-order for the Golden Tee from New Wave Toys with, of course, the included control deck for Golden Tee. So anyways, guys, that's just a little bit of news I had to share with you today. Sorry it's so late, but with my schedule, this is as soon as I could get it out to you. Of course, the AtGames news doesn't look great. I mean, with Zen Studios kind of talking down about their partnership with AtGames, that's disappointing to hear as a big AtGames fan and a big Zen Studios fan, but of course, everything can be worked out. Hopefully, everything continues like it is, and for people hoping that Zen Studios games will come to the new Legends Pinball HDP. Let's hope that happens and you can play your Zen Studios games on that device as well. And of course, with New Wave Toys, I want to say get well soon, Shiloh. The big problem with New Wave Toys is, of course, the outstanding pre-orders. I know people are upset, but once the ball gets moving, people get those in their hands and you remember how good the products are. I think people's opinion of New Wave Toys will change a little bit again. Of course, it sucks having to wait that long, but at the same time, there are extenuating circumstances which are pretty clear and have been communicated. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of this situation with AtGames and Zen Studios? Is it anything to be concerned about for Legends Pinball HDP owners? And of course, New Wave Toys, are you happy to hear the production updates? Are you still happy with your pre-orders? And does this restore a little bit of faith in the company, them reaching out and communicating? Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time.